All right, my friends, this is Liam Pete, and I'm going to introduce you right now to the Fourth C Live. What the Fourth C is I own a company called CCFC Business Services. I've owned it since 2012. Those C's are credit, cash flow, that's what they have, CCFC, and credit, cash flow, and customers, right? Okay. But then, since 2012, because I work with small businesses, right? That's my main thing, so that's moms and dads and cousins who actually go out there and do the things and sell the things and fix the things that we need, and they take care of their families, and they help their community, and they've got their kids in the local schools, and they actually have a concern with what's happening around them because it directly affects them. It affects them way more than the Walmarts of the world. Yes, Walmart employs local people, but almost all the higher ups are non-local, right? Okay, so they're not really concerned with. Bottom line, they're not concerned. The fourth C, which I've come to realize, is community. All right, so the fourth C Live, and what this is going to be a series of interviews with small business owners. It's going to be a series of interviews with mental health therapists. It's going to be a series of interviews with accountants and bankers and farmers and people from the community, so that you can get a perspective and see where they're coming from and what they need. And then over time, we'll be able to put these pieces together because we're learning, because we're listening to each other. Okay, we're not listening to the 5 o'clock news. We're not listening to necessarily that angry podcaster. We're just listening to each other, and so that's it. Stay tuned. Get on our mailing list. Get on our text output. Subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to our newsletter. Make sure that And I know that I just asked a lot. I asked you to let us into your world 4 different ways, but in return, listen. We're going to build a nonprofit entity called the Praetorian Fund off the back of this podcast right here. Okay, the 4th C, our community. Unfortunately, the way things are, and maybe always have been, maybe don't always need to be, but part of the community is slightly disadvantaged. We're going to find intuitive ways. For instance, we're talking about creating a small business employee fund, so that, let's say, for instance, small business, needs to hire somebody, but that person needs a special licensing or special training. They got to go to 6 months worth of education to be qualified, or maybe they've already done that, but they need tools, or maybe they just need something as simple as a pair of work boots. The Praetorian Fund, that will be developed sometime 2025 off of the activity that happens here, we'll have a fund so that we can one of our podcasters that we've interviewed with, or someone that's seen one of the interviews, get in touch with us and say, hey, we just hired so and so, we're working on this or that project, and we need we're able to contribute this much, but there's a shortage on the part of one of our employees. What can you guys do? And if we have the available funds and it meets certain criteria, which our board will definitely be monitoring that, you're like, yeah, you know what? Here's a stipend for that education. Maybe it won't be 100%. Maybe it'll be 10%. Maybe it'll be 50%. I don't know. We'll see as those things happen. Maybe it'll be a pair of work boots, and so maybe we'll just communicate with another small business and say, hey, we've got a guy here. Can you facilitate a 10% discount for guy or gal, whichever the case may be? Can you facilitate a 10% or 20% discount? Then we'll come with 80% of that, and then that the business owner will toss in their 20%, and suddenly we now have somebody who's employed and contributing. That's what the 4th C is all about. Please like, subscribe, subscribe to our text notifications, subscribe to our newsletter, whatever you can, share. That's a big one. I can't overemphasize that enough. Sharing is caring. I'll talk to you soon.